Hey, I'm Vexing. I'm a YouTube strategist with 2.5 billion long form views, and my clients are currently doing over 100 million views a month, long form only. Today I'll be breaking down a issue that I see most YouTubers make from 0 subs all the way to tens of millions of subscribers, and it's an issue that I've made myself on my own channel that I've been building in public for you guys. And this issue is a really easy one to make, and I see basically everyone make it at least once in their career, and that is making content for people that don't really give a shit. And what I mean by that is making content that you want to make, but people might not want to watch. So I've fallen victim to this on Couch Co-op. I run Couch Co-op 50-50 with a partner. I do the ideation, the strategy, the thumbnails. They do the actual video editing. We kind of come up with the story together, and then they also do the scripting. So one of the things that we do is, hey, we're really good at YouTube strategy. If you look at our first run, our first like 6 videos, basically essentially unprecedented run for most people in the YouTube faceless space, besides publicly that I can say Leander Hofskins with Out of Bounds, who's doing a great job there, another one of my friends. But yeah, so essentially if you look at our run here, if we remove that, we could basically have 7 videos all over 100,000 views. And there's a time where our videos were averaging 200,000 views a video for a brand new channel, which is pretty good. But then we fell into this pit trap of making content that we wanted to make. At first, we only made content following my blueprint, which was we'll make content that has the lowest common denominator, in this case being people that play FPS games. That is our potential audience, and that makes our potential audience massive, tens of millions potential. Then we have to shrink it down to language markets, English, still multiple millions of people could potentially watch this if it's interesting. And then obviously it comes down to the total addressable market per game, but we're just going to ignore it. We should look at the base stuff. From there, what we did is we decided to get a little bit smart, if you will. And we made content that we wanted to make. So one of the pieces of content that we wanted to make was talking about why FPS games are so addicting. I come from a background in esports and Rainbow Six Siege. I worked with one of the biggest esports orgs in the world, Astralis, for a long time, working on their Rainbow Six Siege channel. And then I've also worked on some Valorant channels. I've basically worked on every game that has a gun in it. And my roommate, who I work with the channel on, they're really involved in the FPS space as well, consistently making Rainbow Six Siege content. So it made a lot of sense to do why FPS games are so addicting, as it's the games that we always play and we love. And we thought it would be really interesting based on some outliers, but it was more so let's say a passion project that we wanted to make because we thought it would be a good video from our perspective rather than looking at the data. And it's not a video that someone would want to watch. And we would actually probably know that if we just looked at the data on the back end in terms of that. So the issue that I see a lot of people making is making videos that they want to make. And this is the biggest issue with small channels. A lot of the smaller channels look at YouTubers and they go, hey, I want to be a YouTuber and I want to make content that I want to make. I want to be fulfilled about. And that can work. That 100% can work, but it is incredibly rare for it to work unless you do it for a massively long time horizon. If you do it for 8 years, then eventually it'll click. You'll find an audience that likes your content because YouTube is good at distributing it. But 9 times out of 10, it won't happen, especially if you don't get better at 1% every way. And this is someone who's like already kind of like, I'm gonna say, mastered YouTube to a pretty high extent. I get a lot of views. I work with all these clients, and I have a really cohesive strategy. You can look at my track record. But even then, I still made the mistake of making a video that I wanted to make because I thought it would be a good video rather than making a video based on the data that you, the audience, would want to watch. And that's kind of that's the perspective that you have to have when you make content. It's the same thing with how co-op games became are killing live service slop, which is not my greatest title, but a title nonetheless. And it's one of the videos that we spent a lot of time on, and then we just figured out, hey, like this isn't for our audience, and then we got all over the place. Then we did how Destiny Chain created the Avengers Endgame of gaming, which we thought was really good. Again, there's no data. We just wanted to make it because a new Destiny DLC was coming out and we were really passionate about playing it. Everyone in the house was like getting ready. They were gearing up for the raid. I didn't do it because I was too busy working. But besides the point, like we were all playing it. We were all really interested in it and really invested in how the story would pay off the 10-year Light and Dark saga. So we created a video about that and it flopped. Another thing is Elden Ring actually changed gaming forever. Again, another video that we were highly interested in, and it did absolutely terribly because of all the other reasons. I made a video about this explaining it, but the biggest reason I didn't go over, which I probably should have, is we made this video because we wanted to make it because, again, we were fans of Elden Ring, we liked playing it, and it didn't do well. Then we went back to the formula. It's so crazy what happens when you go back to the formula and see what happens. We went back to the formula, we looked at the data, and we figured the Division could probably be a really good game to make, especially with this kind of like title. 34,000 views. It's not the greatest video of all time in terms of views, but compared to our last flops, this one did pretty well. And then Racing Games of Crash and Burn did incredibly well. And I went over a little bit in one of my previous videos explaining how we came up with that idea, how we data backed it, and how this is a video for an audience. We're passionate about making it because we're passionate about racing games. We play racing games, but it is something that we have seen time and time and again where, hey, when we make videos that we want to make, they don't necessarily do to great. And that's true for a lot of YouTubers. I could bring up a billion examples. I could even bring up some client examples. I'm probably not going to do that. I think that's probably not something they want me to show, which is more than fine. But when we make videos that we're passionate about, that we want to make and what we would want to consume, it's not always going to win. And I see that happen with most YouTubers, even big YouTubers who make content they want to make because it's something that they enjoy making, will not necessarily yield results, because essentially what you want to do is you want to make content for the lowest common denominator or the broadest average viewer, if you will. That's where, things like that happen. So it's one of the things that I think could affect you. It's one of the things that I think you would definitely find helpful hearing this, is that don't make content that you want to make because you want to make it, because you enjoy it. Make content that will get views because you know it'll get views, and compromise a little bit. It's fine to compromise. I know a lot of people do YouTube because they want to be creative. You can still be creative and you can still make it incredibly profitable and get lots of views. You just have to compromise. One of the ways that I tell clients is like, hey, let's do 3 videos we know will do well. Let's do an experimental video that you want to do because you are creative, and I don't want to burn you out with a structured, rigid system that will get views and will work. I want to work with you and find a balance that makes sense. And in this case, if that's 3 videos that we know will work well, and then 1 video that's totally I won't look over at all, I'll just let you kind of cook, then let's do that. But in some cases, maybe it's like, maybe we can find a way where it's like, let's make videos you want to make every single time, but let's do a little bit of your flair and a little bit of my flair in terms of like what actual system works and how it makes sense. And if that's something that interests you, you can work with me, DM me on Twitter. You have to have at least 100,000 subscribers or make $5,000 a month, because I'm pretty expensive and I want you to be able to also live and pay for me. And you can also use the tools that I use. The main tool that I use is oneof10.com. And if that's something that interests you and how I use it to come up with videos like these and not videos like these, let me know. And I hope this helps you. I hope this, gives you some more insight as to what content that you want to make and how this could potentially help you out a lot. Thank you so much. It's been Vexing, and I'll see you in the next one.